Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Fox and today we're going to be painting a stormy sky in watercolor using only one color, and that'll be the Winsor Newton Payne's Gray. Now if you're interested in finding a link to all the materials I'm using in this, check out the video description. I will have those listed below. So I'm going to be using several Squirrel Mob brushes. These are Squirrel Quill Harmony brushes number 4 and number 6. Then I'm also going to be using something called the Incredible Nib. And the Incredible Nib is designed for using with masking fluid, but I mainly just use it to lift color off the paper instead of using it for masking fluid. And these will be the main supplies we're going to be using today. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my blank piece of paper. We are painting flat on a piece of paper. I don't want gravity to move things on me. And I'm going to start with pure clean water and a Squirrel Mob brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a lot of water to start with, and I'm going to come back with the Payne's Gray. And I'm going to start putting down Payne's Gray. Now I'm going to drop into certain areas. I had missed some of the whites of the paper, so some of the whites of the paper are going to have hard edges where the color creeps up into it. I'm going to have to clean up underneath my paper because a lot of water got underneath there, and that will form water blossoms later. Then what I'm doing is I'm switching to a smaller brush. I'm going back in with more paint and less water because it won't move as much on the piece of paper. I'm doing a little bit of lifting. I'm lifting out colors with a thirsty brush. A thirsty brush means a brush that's drier than the actual paper. So instead of putting color down, it's going to lift it off. And that's what I'm doing right now here is I'm lifting off color, dropping some more water down to create some water blossoms. And these clouds are really fun to do because it's just a mixture of going back and forth between putting color down, lifting color off, and just trying not to do too much because you can just make a giant mess very quickly. Remember, if you want to get thicker, darker areas, it's thicker paint, less water. Drop it down on a piece of paper as it slowly dries. It won't move as much as when you initially put down all that water and the color at the very beginning. Then I'm going to sit here and just kind of see what happens to see if I like what's going on. I did, so I'm using my hair dryer. I'm going to dry this section now. It takes a couple seconds, and before I go to the next layer, I want to make sure everything's 1,000% dry. So now what I'm doing is I'm coming back in with the Incredible Nib. And what you do is you get the Incredible Nib just a little bit wet, and you go back in and you agitate the color, and it pulls it off the paper if you do this. So I'm using a clean paper towel to dab the excess paper to get back to soft edges. I go back and forth between putting down some color, lifting some color off. Now I'm coming into here and I'm doing the landscape. So a lot of dark Payne's Gray for the landscape. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure about the rule of thirds. I want to put a tree into the rule of thirds there. So it's a third of the way into the composition. I'll put a little pine tree. This guy probably needs a friend someplace, but he's a lone pine tree right now. And here's the final painting. This is a really good exercise to learn how to control wet and wet. So wet watercolor on wet paper, learning how to control the wetness of the paint and the paper itself, getting hard edges and getting soft edges. Very quick, very fast painting. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them on the comments on the YouTube video. Happy to get back to you. And thanks so much, and happy painting. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this content, please hit subscribe.